Hi, I'm certified life coach Dewan J of the High Vibrations Only platform. What you're about to watch is an open coaching session that was actually filmed on TikTok. I pray that the information in the video that you're about to watch will inform, inspire, and ignite you to become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so that you're abreast of all future content coming from me. I'll see you in there. Let's go. We are in the middle of a series called Trust the Transition. And this series is designed. This is, see, I'm skipping ahead in the days already. Sheesh. This right here, this series is designed to instill trust, instill confidence, because change is an inevitable part of life. Change is something that we're going to deal with whether we like it or not. And there are two options when it comes to us dealing with change. We can succumb to the change. We can allow change to cause us to drown in this life, or we can get up and we can fight. Fit to Fight series available on YouTube as we speak, as well as any conversation. La Muñeca is in the building. As well as any conversation from this series that you have missed, or maybe you dipped out of the room and you missed a piece of the conversation. All of these are available on YouTube as we speak. Now, last Saturday, we talked about transitioning style. We talked about the young lady with the dress who didn't dress practically. She'd rather dress for her future. She was skipping past the work that is necessary. And it's here that we have to pause for the first time tonight and talk about that anytime that you're not dealing with what's immediately in front of you, anytime that you overlook work that needs to happen, anytime that you find yourself planning for a future without putting the work in today, you are setting yourself up to be damaged. You are setting yourself up for trauma. You are setting yourself up for disappointment, frustration, and rejection. We talked about 2 weeks ago how sometimes it's not situations or not people that reject you. It's actually the season. And the way to prepare yourself to not be rejected by the season is to actually do the work that is in front of you. We talked about the difference in fashion and style. We talked about how fashion is just fabric and style will sustain you. We talked about how anybody could go get this same hoodie. Anybody could go get this same hat. Anybody could rock this nose ring. Anybody could rock these glasses. Anybody could come on social media and be basic and sip out of Starbucks cups. Anybody can do that, but nobody can do it like you. And a major part of trusting the transition is for us to be able to embrace what it is that makes us us. It's good to get advice. It's good to have people to lean on. It's good to have a circle. It's good for us to be in community with good people. But it's also equally, if not more important, that we know ourselves down to the number of hairs on our head. I know the number on my head is 3. I have exactly 3 hairs on my head. Okay. And once we are beginning to understand this, we can then formulate responses to things that would normally be triggers to us. Situations that would normally make us uncomfortable. There's no need to any longer have anxiety about things that are changing in your life. There's no need to find yourself or get yourself in an uproar about change that is happening. Because when we're stuck in the situation, when we're paralyzed by fear inside of a situation, things like toxic relationships are allowed to continue. Things like abusive relationships are allowed to continue. Things like toxic friendships are allowed to continue. Things like family abusing and taking advantage of you are allowed to continue anytime that we don't trust the transition. Nobody can live this life the way that you live this life. We talked about fashion and how fashion is just fabric, but style is fruitful. What do I mean by fruit? I mean, style allows you to operate in love. Style allows you to operate with empathy. Style allows you to operate with grace and compassion. Style allows you to be assertive about your boundaries. Style allows you to cry when it's time to cry. Style allows you to take off the mask that you put on social media. Style, being unique, being distinct. And this is where we are today. Here's where we are today. And I'll start us off by kicking off with the differences between style and fashion. There is enormous differences. For instance, fashion refers to trends. Trends, clothing choices at a specific time, and style refers to an individual expression through clothing, accessories, and overall appearance. In other words, fashion is what causes people to front. Put that in a point. Fashion causes people to front. Why? Because I can go get a suit from J.C. Penney's, Brook Brothers. I can go get a custom made and a tailored suit to make you believe that I am all about my business. But if I don't have the emotional intelligence to back that up, I'm just an empty suit. I can go get the sundress from wherever I want to get the sundress from. You can go get the mani and the petty and the lace fronts and the lashes and put on all of the contour and foundation and blemish that you need to put on. But underneath all of it, you're a broken person that doesn't have balance in their life. And without that good facial symmetry, you're just as ugly. In other words, fashion can cause you to dress up a mess. Fashion can allow you to dress up brokenness. Fashion can allow, she said we have lists. Fashion can cause you to dress up trauma. Fashion can cause you to hurt other people. Here's why. Because as much as you were slayed, as much as your face was beaten inside of the magazines, it's only covering up the scars that I have from being beaten in real life. Fashion often leads us to failure and failed relationships. Why? Because we fall in love with the suit. We fall in love with the cologne. He had nice shoes and a nice belt, and at least it matched, and at least he owns a suit, is what some of us are settling for today. We fall in love with fashion, the way that the sundress comes over the curves, the way the yoga pants and the Gymshark fits. We're in the gym. We fall in love with fashion. But it's what's underneath that matters. It's what's on the inside that matters. How are you when you first wake up in the morning? How are you when you are in a toxic situation? How are you when you're under pressure? How are you when you're stressed out? How are you, or how do you behave, or how do you treat the people in your life when you have homework due and you're not really understanding the material, but it's everybody else's fault around you. It's everybody else's fault that you can't concentrate. How do you behave then? How are you with your finances? How are you when it comes to disciplining children? Do you want children? Who are you on the inside? We have to come to a place where we are no longer content with dressing it up just so nobody says anything to us, just so that there's no constructive criticism, just so I don't have to unpack the things that happened to me when I was 10 years old, just so I don't have to resurface things that happened to me when I was 14 years old, just so I don't have to relive the sexual assault, just so I don't have to relive the abortion, just so I don't have to relive the abandonment issues. Just so I don't show you my trust issues, I'm gonna put some makeup on. I'm gonna get a nice lineup. I'm gonna put a suit on. I'm gonna cover these things up to make you fall in love with the image of the person, but on the inside, I am hollow. This is what fashion represents. Why? Because fashion is only in season for a little time. But when you have style, you put it together. When you have style, you live like you. Good, bad, indifferent, hard, rough. You are 100% you. And this is why we have to transition the style. Fashion can be temporary and it's constantly changing. Style is often timeless. In other words, and we all know people like this. Listen to me. Nobody that comes to this platform is like this. And I know this, but I have to say this for the other people. Okay, I gotta say it for the other people. I know it's not you. Okay. We all know people like this who love you on Monday. They love you on Monday. But Tuesday, they're driving the biggest bus and they're aiming to put you under it. Wednesday, they want nothing to do with you and they fall back in love with you on Thursday. Friday, it's time to turn up, but that's usually because the happy hour bill, the dinner tab, or you're going to bring a nice and expensive gift. When you find people like this in your life that are constantly changing moods and constantly changing attitudes, this is fashionable. It's going to change. This is what happens to a lot of us. And truth be told, if you look at the dynamics of the relationships, they were formed out of trauma bonds, meaning that I found these relationships as I was changing myself. I found these relationships as I was looking for something myself. So there were times when I was, in fact, this chameleon. There were times when I had to shed a layer of skin. There were times when I accepted this as acceptable behavior, but because the lines of my boundaries, my God, because the lines of my boundaries are constantly moving, nobody knows what's going to upset me. It's okay, Dewan. I just want to keep some things to myself. It's okay. I just don't like to talk about it. It's okay. I just don't want to be a burden. It's okay. I've been dealing with this my entire life. Just because you've been dealing with a problem your entire life doesn't make it right that you deal with it this way now. We have a responsibility. Once you're beginning to come into your own, once you're beginning to know yourself, once you're beginning to establish boundaries and allowing access and controlling access to who or what is in your life, it is your responsibility to hold the people around you accountable. This is just how they are. Stop making excuses for bad behavior. Yeah, I got hit in the face, Dewan, but I saw his arm extended and I just happened to run into it anyway. What? I know that he's sorry. He didn't mean to break my ocular socket. Man, it's all right. She didn't mean no harm. She only slept with 4 other dudes. This behavior is erratic. This behavior is detrimental to your purpose. This behavior is going to cost you in the long run. Why? Because the minute that I have to stop. I wipe my tears this day. I'm in a destruction room the next day. I'm in a boxing class the day after that. I'm on a therapist's couch the day after that. I'm at happy hour the day after that. I'm at a dinner party the day after that. And I'm apologizing the day after that. This constant cycle that we're on is fashionable and it has nothing to do with you as an individual. Let us not get confused. Let us not get confused. Let us not get confused with the fact that we use clothes to make style and we're not supposed to allow the clothes to style us. My God. Let us not get confused with the fact that if I see how this person or these people or this group of people will turn on one another. We've seen them turn into cannibals on one another. But I'm different. Nobody makes Starbucks lattes the way that I do, Dewan. Man, nobody puts it down in the bedroom the way that I do, D. Really. It's not about what you're doing that's going to keep her. It's not about what you're doing that's going to keep your relationship safe. Because there's 40 other dudes in the DMs waiting on an opportunity to prove you wrong. My God, do not do this to these people today. Okay. We have gotten into a place. We have gotten into a place where we're doing patchwork. We're doing patchwork on our lives. We're doing patchwork on our brains and in our hearts. We're doing patchwork, but the entire time, the blood of our heart is pumping and it's coming across at the seams. It's coming out. It's leaking. We are hemorrhaging. You're wondering why the last 5 people couldn't fulfill you in a relationship. You're wondering why you changed friends groups 5 times over the course of the last year. You're wondering why you can't find anyone to understand you. It's because you don't understand you. You're changing with the season. See, when you're in style, it doesn't matter what's in season. When you're in style, you become a trendsetter. When you're in style, you become a trailblazer. When you're in style, you come to realize that you were fearfully and wonderfully created in the image of the Creator. When you're in style, you come to realize that you are more than a conqueror. When you're in style, you realize that there will be another test, but you also realize that you're ready. When you're in style, you are fit to fight. When you are in style, the only change is your evolution. The only change is your growth. Stop chasing fashion and chase style. Style makes you distinct. It makes you unique. Fashion is oftentimes influenced by the fashion industry and designers. But style is largely influenced by an individual's taste, an individual's personality, an individual's cultural background. What am I saying? You can't declare yourself to be a person that keeps it 100. You can't declare yourself to be a solid person. You can't consider yourself to be, I'm just going to keep it real, when other people are dictating what you find palatable, when other people are dictating where your boundaries are, when other people are dictating whether or not you have self-value, self-worth, when other people are telling you what you are worth, you are not a solid individual. And it's because you'd rather have effed up friends than to pursue your future. My God. It's because you'd rather have friends and failed relationships than to fortify yourself. You'd rather somebody else make the tough decisions. You'd rather somebody else doing the breakup. How many times have you, girl, I feel like this relationship has been over for a year. I just wish he would move out already. He ain't going nowhere. Why? Why? Because he dressed himself up like a husband. You dressed yourself up like a wife. You actually played your part and he didn't. Curry contributed to the live goal. Let's go. You played your part and he didn't play his. You played your part and she didn't play hers. We're dressing up. And as a result, because I don't want to make the decision, because I don't trust myself in a spirit of confrontation, because I refuse to set boundaries, because I don't want to be looked at as a bad person, because I can't be mean to everybody, my boundaries are weak. And as a result, they get kicked down. And once they get kicked down, they continue to be walked over. You wonder why your name is being dragged through the mud? It's because you let it. Okay, calm down, Dewan. Do not. You wonder. You wonder why you continue to be used. You wonder why you continue to be misused. You wonder why you continue to be misunderstood. Why? It's because you are not setting your own boundaries. The way that you carry yourself, other people are influencing. Other people are influencing the way that you dress yourself. My God. You're letting other people decide what's hot. You're allowing other people to decide what you're going to wear. You're letting other people decide how you're presenting yourself. You're letting other people indicate or dictate the way that you're going to smile or not, whether or not you're angry or not. It's not, it's not fashionable. It's not fashionable. It's not. What you say is fashion is fashion. I had a client once, and she was a personal training client, and we would work out, right? And towards the end of the workout, she started on the Stairmaster, right? 20 minutes, boom, boom, 20 minutes on the Stairmaster. We're gonna get this weight work in, and at the end, we're gonna do 15 minutes on the mitts, right? But when it got to the mitts, she would always have to stop mid-session, not because she was tired, but because her feet hurt. And this was curious, right? So I'm like, hey, why don't you go get some insoles? Hey, why don't you go see a podiatrist? Why don't you go and I'm offering solutions. Try eating some turmeric in your diet to, regulate some of the circulation and some of the blood flow. And I was looking at her shoes, making sure that, her shoes weren't like too small for like the workouts that we were doing. And it came to find out that the reason that her feet hurt is because she had blisters on the bottom of her feet and corns on the side of her pinky toe, because every time she went to a dinner party, every time she went out dancing, it was required of her by her husband that she wore heels. And oftentimes, because she was a slim woman, oftentimes the heels that she bought in order to stop her feet from looking big, she would buy heels that were smaller than the size that she had, and they would cause them to rub. Put this in a point. Anytime I make myself uncomfortable for other people's satisfaction, I misunderstand the assignment. I misunderstand the assignment. Her husband was dictating what was comfortable for her. Her husband keeping image was more important than her comfort. It was more important than her being able to have a good time. Could you imagine? You wearing heels, a size smaller than you would normally wear. You're expected to dance. You're expected to do all of the walking. And you have to smile through all of this. I know. This sounds messed up, right? This sounds so messed up, but this is you. This is you. This is you. This is you every time you're upset about something and you come on social media and smile. This is you when you have a jacked up marriage and you post the highlights of the vacation on social media. It wasn't really a true vacation done out of romance. This was done as a last ditch effort to save the relationship. And I'm talking to somebody right now. This is you every time you have to fake a phone call. This is you every time that you have to put on a smile just to let your kids know that everything is going to be okay, when on the inside you are hurting. On the inside you are uncomfortable. On the inside you feel squeezed just like this woman's feet. On the inside you are blistered, and every time that you step in every other situation you are uncomfortable because you've had to smile. You've had to grin and bear it for so long that you thought that this has become a way of life. My God. This is you. It didn't matter what other set of shoes she put on. When she actually put the shoes on that she wanted to put on, or the shoes that she needed for the activity, when she actually put those shoes on, right, those were uncomfortable. And because we've made trauma such a way of life, because other people's opinion weighs more than our self-worth, because other people's opinion means more than our self-value, every pair of shoes that we try on seems uncomfortable. We seem unqualified enough. We seem not pretty enough. We seem not smart enough. We seem not worthy of the promotion. We seem not worthy of love. We seem not worthy of having a quality and a healthy relationship. Every pair of shoes I put on, because I allow other people's opinions to dictate what I wear in this season, every room that I walk in, I'm uncomfortable as a consequence. Every single workout session. What does that mean? It means that when I'm not in control of my own self-image, when I'm not in control of the way that I present myself, when I'm not comfortable in one area of my life, it literally bleeds over into other areas of my life to the point where I'm ineffective. And this ineffective brings a lack of productivity. This lack of productivity lowers the self-esteem. This lower self-esteem then produces lower self-worth. This lower self-worth makes me think that this toxic situation is the only thing that I deserve. This toxic situation has separated me from God's ear. My God. This toxic situation has separated me from the ability to trust. This toxic situation has made me skeptical, I can't even say the word, has made me skeptical of everybody else. This toxic situation has separated me away from being able to love my children the right way because I don't love myself the right way. This toxic situation has stopped me from being the woman that I was created to be, the man that I was created to be, the person that I was created to be in life because I think that toxicity is a way of life. I feel like the shoes are too big, even though they're just my size. My God. Okay, let me just leave that alone. Let me explain something to you right here, right now. And I don't know who I'm talking to, but I know that you hear me. I can feel that you hear me. Let me explain something to you right now. By nature of being born, you have the right to be comfortable. By nature of being born, you have a right to present yourself in whatever image you want to, as long as you are comfortable. By sheer nature of you being born, you have the right to set boundaries. By nature of you being born, you have the right to explore happiness. By nature of you being born, you have the right to pursue purpose. And it does not matter about your lack of resources. I know I'm talking to somebody right now. It does not matter about your lack of resources. We can work that out. It doesn't matter about your fear. We can work that out. It doesn't matter about what people are going to say. We can work that out. It does not matter whatever reason that is causing you to stay in this toxic situation where your feet are being blistered to the point that it hurts to walk away. My God, where it hurts to walk away from a situation. It does not matter. You are bigger. You are better. You are smarter. You are prettier. You deserve more than what you're allowing yourself to have. God's waiting for you. Purpose is waiting for you. Destiny is waiting for you. Peace is waiting for you. Happiness is waiting for you. You're loved. You're cared about. You are thought of. You're concerned about. There are people that are willing to help you. There are people who it breaks their heart to see you in that situation. There are people that currently love you more than you're loving yourself because somebody else's opinion has caused you to chase fashion. Has caused you to chase fashion and not style. Fashion will cause you to sink into conformity. Style emphasizes individuality. Anytime that we're bowing down to the status quo, anytime that the norm around you has become routine, anytime that you've accepted what is going on around you as good as it's going to get, you are now chasing fashion and not style. It is your responsibility to open up your imagination. How do I do that, Coach? Well, I'm glad that you asked me. You open up your imagination by asking why. Those that have been rocking with me for a long time have heard me tell the story. I've answered why 38 times in a row. 38 times in a row because I refuse to kill Dominic's imagination. I refuse. I refuse to allow him to believe for one single solitary second that he doesn't have the right to question everything. For some of us, this started at 3 years old. For some of us, it started at 5 years old. For some of us, it started at 12 years old when grandma told me that I better not say nothing about Uncle Jimmy touching me in the no. Oh my God. Some of us, it started at a young age. For some of us, we were a little older. For some of us, it started at our first heartbreak. For some of us, it started the first time that we were burnt with an STI. For some of us, it started when we were sexually assaulted. For some of us, it started the first time we put a needle in my arm. My God. For some of us, it started the first time we tried alcohol. For some of us, it started when we had to rely on government assistance. For some of us, it started a long time ago. And now this has become the status quo. You live in the project, so you adopt the project mentality. No. Your homegirls are off cheating on their men, so I'm going to cheat on my man. No. Your homeboys let you stay in the garage or sleep on the couch or cover for you with lies when you're cheating on your wife. No. I like people that look like me, and for some reason, everybody is telling me that I deserve death. No. For some of us, it was more passive. For some of us, it was, I saw mom taking 10, 12 dudes in and out of the bedroom over the course of my childhood. For some of us, it was mom not teaching me how to take care of myself. For some of us, it was mom not informing me about body issues. For some of us, it was dad not showing up at the football games. For some of us, it was dad that did not teach me that there was a financial responsibility attached to the bedroom activity. For some of us, it was dad who I seen with 25 girlfriends all across the town. For some of us, it was dad who told me that it was better to be a player than to be a man of God. For some of us, it was dad who refused to take me to church and introduce me to the saving grace of Jesus Christ. For some of us, it was more subtle. And now it's become the norm because I want to do what's fashionable. I want to make as little ripples as possible. I want to make as little waves as possible. So I go along with the status quo. I just go along because this is what has sustained me. There's a difference between living and existing. Just because you're taking breath in your lungs, it doesn't mean that you're living. Just because you have thoughts, it doesn't mean that you're living. Just because you can wake up and go out and grab drinks, it doesn't mean that you're living. The Starbucks trip should not be the highlight of your week. Oh my God, I would die without Starbucks. So every Friday, you look forward to putting on your yoga pants, your Uggs. You go down there, you get yourself a pink drink. And this is called living to you. Until the cup is empty. And my heart is just as empty as the cup. Until my brain is just as useless as the straw in the cup with nothing on the inside. Until I look as silly as I do holding an empty cup, attempting to drink something that I know is gone. Fashion will have you holding on to the past for a long time. Fashion will have you nurturing, cultivating the soul tie that you created with that dude that broke your heart. Fashion will have you looking for acceptance from an unappreciative or a mom that does not see you. Fashion will cause you to continue to ask for forgiveness when you did no wrong. Fashion will have you taking too much accountability. But as long as you can get your Starbucks, as long as you can put your yoga pants on, as long as you can put your Uggs on, this is just existing. This is operating at a mediocre vibration. This is operating outside of the will of God. This is operating in a place where we're so weighed down and bogged down by the things that are on my mind that I continue to fly below my privilege because I'd rather be close to somebody even if they're bringing me down. Fashion can be expensive, exclusive, catering to specific demographics. Style can be achieved on a budget and is accessible to anyone with creativity and self-expression. See, these are my people. These are your people. Fashion is targeted, right? Listen to the bar that was dropped right here. Expensive, exclusive, catering to a specific demographic. This is where racism comes from. This is where sexism comes from. This is where homophobia comes from. Here's where anti-Semitic remarks come from. Here's where the pedos live. It's expensive. You know me, D. High risk, high reward, right, D? Nah, man. It don't got to be that way. To love is free. Empathy is free. Compassion is free. Being a decent human being is free. Seeing your self-worth is free. Living on purpose, in purpose, and for a purpose is free. Being an example to your son is free. Being an example to your daughter is free. It is not exclusive. It should not be exclusive. It's expensive when I cut everybody out of my life and I choose to isolate because that's the way that I dealt with problems my entire life. That's toxic and expensive. What is it costing you? It's costing you peace of mind. It's costing you relationships. It's costing you sanity. It's costing you anxiety. It's costing you depression. And because you shut everybody out, it's exclusive to you. Is it targeted at a specific demographic? Yes. My heart was broken by Tyrone, and as a result of that, all black men are trash. Stop. Shantae cheated on me 7 times, and as a result of that, all women have fake hair and wigs and lace fronts, and they're all capped. Stop. As a result of that, my parents used to abuse me. And as a result of that, I refused to discipline my child whatsoever. And yet I'm crying and continually going to therapy and putting them in therapy when it's not working. But the only thing that they needed for you to say that you care. The only thing that they needed was for you to pay attention. The only thing that they needed was for you to go outside and throw a ball for once. The only thing that they needed was for you to teach them how to ride a bike. The only thing that they needed for you to sit down and draw a picture with them. The only thing that they needed is for you to help them with one homework. It does not have to be something that you don't understand. You don't have to worry about looking bad. This is your child. How dare we? How dare we open our mouths to complain about the state of the world, but we're not investing in the future? My God. How dare we open our mouths and complain about the toxicity, but when you see bad things happening, you do nothing to stop it? How dare we rise up against social injustice, then let the government cut us a $2,000 check and we sit on our behinds pacified? My God, do not go down this rabbit hole, Dewan. We're gatekeepers of happiness. We're gatekeepers of success. We're gatekeepers of peace. We are gatekeepers. Yet everybody's got something to say. Yet everybody wants to complain about something. Yet everybody wants to do something, wants to sit around and have tea. Yet everybody wants to sit around and have coffee and think about what we should do. When are we going to act? I'm sick. I'm sick of seeing videos on social media. I'm sick of seeing public wrong being done in public and nobody standing up to do anything about it. Why? Because nobody else did anything about it. So you sat down pacified. You want to know where the toxicity is? You want to know what causes so much hurt? You want to know why the world seems to not be able to straighten themselves out? It's because righteous people do nothing in a time of crisis. Because they'd rather be fashionable. They want to be the first to post it on World Star. They want to be the first to tweet it. They want to be the first to report it on TikTok. When righteous people do nothing, toxicity rises. When righteous people rather be fashionable than to operate in style, the future is futile. How is it? How is it we claim to believe in a higher power? How is it that we claim to believe in God? How is it that we claim to operate with a sense of purpose? Yet we sit down and allow obstacles to continue to be piled in front of us. How is it that we claim that we want to take off? 2024 is going to be the year. Yes, girl. How is it that that's your mentality, but you allowing people to junk up your runway? That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just going to mind my business. It is your business. It is your business. How is it that we want to take off? We want to take off. We want to soar. This is going to be the year. I'm going to write the book this year. I'm going to start the business this year. I'm going to have the best love life in my life. I'm going to have the best relationship of the year. I'm gonna make some new friends. I need some girls around me that are just going to puff me up. I need some girls around here that need to celebrate me. I'm gonna go where I'm celebrated and not tolerated. Hey, sounds good. Sounds good. But then when you go back and look at the hashtags that were trending at that time, it was mental health. When you go look at the hashtags that were trending at that time, it's she power. When you go look at the hashtags that were trending at that time, it's me too. When you look at the hashtags at that time, it's feminism. When you look at the hashtags at that time, it was about what it is that these people are posting and capping about. But when righteous people do nothing, toxicity rises. Put that in the, my God. Fashion can be used as a tool for status and social signaling. But style is a form of self-expression and may not be used for social signaling. What does that mean? It means stop spending your tax money flexing on Instagram. It means that if you live in a $22,000 a year duplex, stop buying $63,000 cars. It means that if your lights got cut off last month, you probably don't need the Jordans this month. It means that if you can barely afford baby formula, stop going to happy hour with the girls. It means that if I don't want to be objectified, I'm not going to dress myself in a certain manner. It means that if I don't want to be classified as the trash men, I'm going to stop talking like them. It means that I'm going to educate myself. It means that I'm going to dare to be different. I don't care what other people's opinion is of me. I don't care about social signaling. I don't care about what it is that people are going to say. What I care about is living in purpose, on purpose, for a purpose. This is what I care about. I don't care about no social status. Have it. I don't care how many women are looking at my car when I drive by. Have it. I don't care how many hearts go up the screen when I do not do this to these women, Dewan. I don't care. Just explain this to me. How was it shoulder day at the gym, but the only thing in the camera are your assets? Just okay. Look. Okay, look. We're gonna send all of these people out of here, right? Let's just talk, right? Explain this to me. How is it that you're sick of men looking at you at the gym, but you're wearing an oversized t-shirt just so you can tie it to show off your waist? How is it that you're going to change the way that you're dating? You're going to change and you're going to do better this year, but the first dude that comes along with tattoos that calls you out your name is the person that you fall in love with. You didn't learn anything from baby daddy. My God, do not. How is it that you're sick of dealing with toxic women, but you don't feel like a woman loves you unless she's putting scratches on your face just as good as she puts it on her back? Okay. How is it that you're going to change behavior? You're going to be a better steward of your finances, but because you couldn't spare 15 minutes of lust, because you couldn't spare an hour of lust, because you just had to go out and get that outfit and go out to the club, and then the Henny started hitting the way that it was going to hit, and you end up going home, and now you have more financial responsibility. My God. Stop telling me that it's not about a social status. Stop telling me that it's not about a social signal. And you go and you open up an encyclopedia. You come to platforms like this. You listen to people that are mental health professionals. You listen to people speak. You learn a few buzzwords and you go out and you spit that nonsense. And then her not knowing any better, she falls for it. Y'all deserve each other because y'all are for fashion. I need some individuals. I need individuals. I need individuals that can come collectively together. See, most people say things like you're my other half. No, that's toxic. It takes one complete person and one complete person to form a complete my God, y'all do not want to talk to me tonight. It takes one complete person and one complete person to make one complete union. And it does not matter the dynamic of the relationship. It takes one complete person. Now, here's what happens. Here's what happens, right? Keisha broke my heart, and I'm mostly healed from it. So when I get with Sharon, right, I'm still looking for the other 20%. Now, because Sharon had her heart broken, and for some reason she was gaslit into thinking that she wasn't a good enough woman. She's willing to give me the 20%, even though that she doesn't have that in abundance. She doesn't have it in abundance. She has it in limited supply. She has enough for her, but she's willing to give it to you. And next thing you know, Sharon is in a pattern and is really my fault, but it's a byproduct of what Keisha did to me. How fair is that? How fair is that? Put this in a point. If I'm not complete, I can only cause chaos. If I'm not complete, I can only cause chaos. It's amazing. It's amazing that everybody that's ever hurt me told me that they love me first. My God. Sovereign, thank you for stopping through. Everybody that's ever hurt me told me that they loved me first. How is it? You're supposed to be my boy, but you sleep with the woman who said that she was my girl. You're supposed to be my girl, but you're wearing outfits to tempt my man walking around my house. You're supposed to be my girl. I told you what I told you in confidence, so how did it end up in the group text? Uh-oh. You're supposed to be the person or a person in my life that was sent and meant to protect me, yet you're the person who makes me feel the most vulnerable. Everybody that has ever hurt you told you that they loved you first. We have to get to a place where my individuality has to reign above what's comfortable for the large. Because me being complete, me operating in fullness of self, me operating at the highest vibrational level, me operating in the will of God, me operating according to what it is that I'm supposed to be doing in life is the best thing for the greater good. It does not matter if you like how we get there or not. I'm done. I'm done with the status quo. I'm done bowing down to people's opinion. Let me explain something to y'all. Let me explain to y'all how serious this is. If you allow other people's opinions to stop you from walking in purpose, you've made that person an idol. My God, it is literally sinful. Y'all got to catch me on the other page. Y'all got to catch me on the other page. Woo, that'll preach. It is literally sinful. So don't tell me that you believe in God. And you say that you keep all the commandments and you say that you and you follow every law that's in the Bible. You say that you follow in the will of God. You say that you're filled with the Holy Spirit. You say that God is guiding your life, yet other people have forced you to create my God. Other people has made this an idol. Look, biblically speaking, an idol is anything that stops you. Is anything that stops you from operating inside of the will of God is literally an idol. Money can be an idol. Sex is an idol. Love, it can be an idol. People's opinions can be an idol. Fear can be an idol. Anxiety can be an idol. Depression can be an idol. And this is what happens. We literally allow, and we start to build this idol. Okay, I do not want, okay. Sheesh. Stop creating idols. For those of y'all that are not, biblically, that educated inside of the Bible, there's nothing wrong with that. I love you too. But what that basically means is that you've put another God before God. Okay. Fashion is normally dictated by the season, status, or style is reflection or is influenced by experience. Fashion is dictated by the season. In other words, I'm just going to sit back and accept what's happening to me. I'm just going to roll with the punches. And this is why I strongly dislike phrases like "it is what it is." This is why I strongly dislike phrases like "it's going to be what it's going to be." SOCKS. I strongly dislike phrases that repeat themselves. I said what I said. Yeah, but you were less clear. You're just as clear now as it was when you said it. You want empathy. You want me to understand where you're coming from, but you're steady saying what you're saying. And when I ask for clarity, you look at me like, okay, do not. You just because you said what you said, it doesn't make the statement less toxic. It doesn't make you look more callous. It does not mean that you're operating in more empathy, more grace, or more compassion. Just because you said what you said, you were wrong now, just like you were wrong then. Oh my God, Dewan, what's understood doesn't have to be explained. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Why wouldn't you want to operate out of an abundance of clarity? Why wouldn't you want to be not mistaken for what it is that was saying? Why would you not want to be heard and to be understood and to be seen? As a result of that, your last relationship kept you in a dormant place because what's understood doesn't have to be explained. Shut up. Now you're bleeding all over everybody else and yelling at everybody else because you feel like you're not being heard. Now you're screaming at everybody else because you feel misunderstood. You're screaming at everybody else because you feel like your voice has been canceled. You're screaming at everybody else, even children, because you are carrying this past pain because it is what it is. It has to be explained. It needs to be explained. And anybody that's in your life that's not willing to listen to your explanation with an intent to respond out of love, kindness, and for resolution, anybody in your life like that has to go. We have to. We must stand up for ourselves. We must stand up and become individuals. Why? Because even biblically speaking, the body of Christ is one body with many members. In other words, my fingers and toes, they might look alike, but they don't do the same thing. Even my eyes, they're sitting here. They're in close proximity to one another. But one is for nearsightedness. The other one's for farsighted. Okay. That's deep. That'll preach. I have to stop wanting to look like everybody else. I have to stop wanting to do what everybody else is doing. I have to stop fitting in for the sake of not making ripples. Why? Because if I choose to fit in, if I choose to bow down, if I choose to accept what is happening, then I deserve everything that comes back at me. If I choose to accept, or if I choose to go with what everybody else is doing, I deserve everything that's happening to me. It's a hard pill to swallow, but a necessary one. It's difficult to process information like that, but it's absolutely necessary. I have to stop being swayed by the season. We talked about it. Available on YouTube right now. I have to stop being swayed by the season. I have to run into the storm like those buffalo. I have to be anchored in the storm like that boat. I have to be able to look at the storm in the face and with faith command the storm to stop and believe that it is so because God's okay. Put this in a point. There is a standard. There is a standard of style for success. There is a standard of style for success. And it does not matter what you are looking at as success. It could be reconciling your marriage. It could be getting back with, what's his face? It could be getting back with, what's her name? There is a standard of style. And it's broken down into 5 P's: purpose, possessions, the people around you, peace, and pleasure. Does it have meaning? Does it serve your purpose? Is it pushing you and propelling you towards purpose? If not, then it's toxic. It has to go because you're in danger of not being in style, but rather chasing fashion. When we talk about possessions, things that we hold on to, things that we claim ownership of. I tell y'all every time, everything that we release belongs to God. Everything that we hold, we claim ownership of. God is to love what's happening. Are we holding this thing or is this thing holding us? Or do we hold cigarettes or do cigarettes hold us? Am I holding the Xbox controller or is the system holding me? Am I holding my mobile device or is it holding me? Am I holding adult videos or are they holding me? Am I holding lust? Am I holding social anxiety? Am I holding depression? Or are they holding me? Possession. Do I possess it? Or does it possess me? The people around, we've talked about this. Get yourself a starting 5. Get yourself somebody that's going to hold you accountable. Somebody that's going to console you. Somebody that's smarter than you. Somebody who is successful in that area of life. And somebody that can tie them all together and make it all make sense for you. Jen, what's happening? Welcome in. Where are we? How is it? How is it? So many of us are walking around with addictions. We're addicted to toxic relationships. We're addicted to being mistreated. We're addicted to the cycle of abuse. We're addicted to the love bombing. We're addicted to makeup sex. Y'all want to talk about it? Yeah. Y'all want to talk about this? We're addicted to sugar. We're addicted to coffee. Oh my God, Dewan, do not yell at me before I've had my Starbucks. What? It's Monday and I hate it here until I have my coffee and then I love it here. It's Monday and the boss better not say anything, but you and the boss had that little thing that happened last summer that you're not really talking about. Okay, do not do this to this people, Dewan. Let me just. The people around you are going to tell you, yo, D, you might have a problem. The people around me are going to be like, yo, D, like you're worth more than that. Yo, D, you're better than that. The people around me are going to tell me, bro, this ain't the person that I know you to be. This isn't the fighter that I know you to be. This isn't the warrior that I know you to be. This isn't the Christian that I know you to be. This isn't the man that I know you to be. And if you're not willing to have that conversation with me, get away from me. Listen, I mean this. 100%. I mean this with every fiber of my being. If you are unwilling to have a difficult conversation with me about something that I have done to you, or about something that you see that I could improve upon, about something that you see that I could be doing better, about reminding me of who I am, if you are unwilling to have this conversation with me, get away from me and do it quickly. Because every time that I waste, every tear that I waste, every thought that I waste, spending it with somebody who doesn't have the same level of love for me as I have for them, I am breaking the reciprocity bank. I'll never see a return on an investment. And before long, I am so far down the rabbit hole that when I finally climb out, I'm just going to hurt somebody else. The people around you matter. Even though the people that are around you may not be with you, they're setting an atmosphere that you're supposed to change. They're setting an atmosphere that you're supposed to influence. They're setting an atmosphere that you're not supposed to be a part of, but okay. Peace. We do everything from a sense of peace, right? Old timers used to be, I've made peace with it. My grandma used to say, yeah, the light's gonna get cut off. I made peace with it though. On her deathbed, God rest her soul. Grandma, come on, you got this. Jesus can. What do you need me to pray for, Grandma? What do you need me to pray for? She's like, boy, I lived 78 long years. I'm at peace with this. When I lost the record deal, I was stuck on a hamster wheel until I made peace with it. When the original woman that I thought that I was going to marry broke my heart because it was a long distance relationship, I made peace with it. Because other than that, I was putting myself in a prison. When I lost the contract with the NFL, I made peace with it because it was keeping me in a position that God didn't want me in. When I joined the military, after a couple of deployments, I had to make peace with some things. But now, because I've gotten in a habit, because I've made peace and made it a priority and made it routine to make peace in my life, I'm peace with being a published author. I'm at peace with being a podcaster. I'm at peace with being a preacher. I'm at peace with being a father. I'm at peace with being a man. I am at peace with being a coach. I am at peace with being the person that it was that I was called to be in this life. I am at peace. But it came from doing the reps. It came from drilling in. It came from not wanting to be a part of culture. It came with not wanting to fit in. It came with making peace with being ostracized. It came with making peace with being considered a nerd. It came with being at peace with being an outcast when it came to friends. But I like what I like. I'm happy. And this helped me develop to the person, to the leader, to the man that I am today. Make peace. And ultimately, does your style bring you pleasure? What's going to make me happy? So I got this nose ring when I was on the East Coast. This isn't just a California thing. Right now, out here, everybody has it. But on the East Coast, you really don't see too many dudes with nose rings, but I wanted one. My mom, when she first saw it, my God, you got a nose ring? Yeah.
It's not giving me a popsicle.
And I had to look at my mom. She's like, why would you do that? I wanted it. You know, this is not what people do. It's what I do. This is what I want. And for once in my life, I'm going to do what I want. But had I not had that conversation, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation, because this was the first step to me healing. Me doing what I want. Me deciding to stop chasing fashion. Me deciding to stop being a people pleaser. Goddess of Love said for the first time in her life, she's at total peace and she thanks God. Amen. When it comes to style, right? When it comes to style, it's tailor made. It's tailor made, and here's the difference, right? You're Anybody can go to the store, buy a t-shirt, buy a hoodie, buy whatever, right? But when you're stylish, you have a tailor. You go there, you get everything custom made. You get everything custom made. And it's here that I need you to put this in a point. The tailor talks. Trust him. Some of us call the tailor the Holy Spirit. Some of us call the tailor intuition. Some of us call it conscious. And the reason that the tailor talks to us, the reason that the tailor is able and is qualified to give us the advice and to guide us through life is because in a natural sense, right? In a non-metaphor, in a very practical sense, the tailor gets into the most vulnerable places. The places that we don't like to talk about at parties. If we're self-conscious about our waist size, the tailor has to, let me see how you measure up. When a tailor goes to measure the inseam, it's in a literal vulnerable place. It's in a place that's reserved usually for lovers. They measure the most vulnerable places. So as a result of that, the tailor will talk to you. Your intuition will speak to you. The Holy Spirit will speak to you. Your conscience will speak to you. And it's qualified to speak because it knows you intimately, much like a tailor. When a tailor has to measure an inseam, what has to happen is, we're gonna say that example. What has to happen is that the tailor has to get down on one knee and they take a measuring tape and they measure from your ankle all the way up to where your thigh meets your pelvis. This is what happens. Okay, and once this happens, the tailor knows exactly how you measure. My God, the tailor knows exactly how you measure up. So there's no need to get on social media and have pissing contests. There's no need to get on social media to figure out who's packing the most up here. The tailor knows. In other words, God knows. The Holy Spirit knows. Your intuition knows. And these things we oftentimes ignore. We ignore the tailor. And anytime that you ignore the tailor, you're setting yourself up for a bad outfit. My God. The tailor knows. The tailoring process. It goes selection of fabric, selection of design, then the measurement, then they draft the pattern, then they cut the fabric, then there's a first fitting, alterations, a second fitting, and then finishing. This is the healing process in a nutshell. This is the healing process. Selection of fabric. What issue would I like to change and how would I like it to feel? Selection of fabric. You select fabric based off of color, feel, material, washability, durability. What issue in my life am I going to change and how would I like it to feel? Then I select the design because the design is going to tell me the steps that I need to take. It's going to tell me how I need to cut it. It's going to tell me which way do I need it purposed, which way or where do I need to cut and when. Then they measure. Do I have the heart for this? Do I have the intellect for this? Do I have the stamina for this? Do I have the resilience for this? Do I have what it takes to see this through? And then I'm going to start to draw the pattern. This is your vision board. This is your manifestation journal. This is your prayer. This is your fasting. This is you attempting to get under the will of God when you draft the pattern because the tailor is going to tell you how to get there. Then they start to cut the fabric. They cut away things that no longer serve them. They cut away things that no longer serve them. They cut away toxic relationships. They cut away people. They cut away situations. They cut away jobs. They cut away things that no longer serve them. And as a result of that, I'm going to cut this fabric and then I'm going to try it on. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to go make some alterations. Okay, maybe I need to take it in a little bit here. Maybe I need some firmer boundaries here. Maybe I need a little more empathy here. Maybe I need a little more compassion over here. Maybe I need to put myself out there more. Maybe I need to step further outside of my comfort zone. Maybe I need to get around more positive people. Maybe I need to leave this job. Maybe I actually need to start writing the book. Maybe I need to actually start the business. Maybe I need to file the paperwork. Maybe I need to go back to school. Right? This is where I'm making my alterations. Right? Then there's the second fitting. I'm gonna try this thing on again. And if it doesn't fit, then I'll just go back to alterations. But I'm gonna try it on again. But if I'm diligent, if I'm persistent, if I am willing to put the work in, no matter how ugly it gets, if I'm willing to put the work in, no matter how many times I have to cry, if I'm willing to put the work in, no matter how many people turn their back on me, if I'm willing to put the work in, no matter how many people are gossiping, if I'm willing to put the work in, I can finish. And this is why it's important to transition to style. This is why. Too many of us are chasing fashion. Too many of us are chasing fashion. Too many of us are wanting to fit in when we should be setting the trend. Put that in a point. Too many people are trying to fit in when we should be setting the trend. We have to be finishers. We have to transition the style. Questions, comments, or concerns? Put them in the chat. Next week, actually on Saturday, we will be talking about transitioning ownership. Transitioning ownership. And there's some things that we're holding on to, or that we think that we're holding on to, that are actually holding on to us. Saturday, noon Pacific Standard Time.